Hey, what up? Welcome back to the VIP Financial Ed YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us today. I've got Mr. Kris Krohn sitting next to me once again. Kris and I have come together with our wealth department. Guys, this is a wealth creation strategy where because of our partnership, you guys really can start to put a portfolio of cash flowing real estate together that is aggressively appreciating in value because it is truly based on the macro data, the hottest markets in the entire country, and you can have the boots on the ground that prevent you from having to fly all over the damn place and figure it out on your own, which if you do that, by the way, you're gonna screw it up. If you are a DIYer, you may as well just be buying in your own backyard. I'm telling you that right now. Don't even worry about the hottest markets. Buy in your own backyard because it's gonna be much safer and you're never ever gonna get there as fast as you will with what Kris and I have been discussing. Now, today there is gonna be a really, really cool giveaway, so I want you to make sure you stick around to the end of the video, but I want Kris to talk to me about why he thinks his strategy is the best. So make sure that you don't miss out on today's video. Alrighty guys, this is it. This is where we start to get into
Put the gloves
numbers.
on,
Yes,
baby.
The numbers. Because numbers are what I like the most. I'm an analytical guy. I'm a data guy. And I know Kris is somebody that whiteboards a lot of this stuff. And he really has argued this strategy since I've known you. You came walking in, he's been very consistent with his game plan. So tell us a little bit about exactly what that game plan is as the best way to buy long-term real estate.
So I want to share this with you. When I got started, I brought on 3 mentors that were all teaching me how to make money in real estate. One of them was having me focus on a long-term rental. Another one was having me focus on a lease option. Another one wanted me to do a note. And I started seeing, wait a second, you're all giving me different strategies. So which one's best? And none of them could give me a straight answer. None of them could give me, for my mathematical mind, none of them could give me math that really made sense. And so I would ask them, I asked one of them, I said, so which strategy is best? Is it flipping? Is it rentals? Is it this? Is it that? And they said, well, that's an unfair question. And I said, well, why is that unfair? They said, because do you think like the highest ROI is best? I'm like, yeah, that's great. He said, no, because higher ROI can often mean higher risk. So there's going to be multiple factors. You'd have to build an algorithm. And that's exactly what I did. I actually, I wrote this book, moved 50,000 copies of this. It's called Strait Path to Real Estate Wealth. And it introduces a different approach to real estate. Instead of saying, you know, this is how I made money with this strategy, I don't care. I want to know which strategy is best according to criteria. I had to decide for myself the criteria that mattered most to me. And so what I came up with was, Matthew, for me, for the strategy to be the best, it would have to require the least amount of my time. Because
yeah, I was going to say, time has to be factored in there, right?
Time
because
is a
of
factor.
lifestyle aspect.
Yeah, so most time, mid-time, least time. So I wanted to know the least time. I wanted to know the least effort. Hard or easy, right? I wanted the easy way. I wanted the least risk. So out of, what will have relatively the least risk. Number 4, most profit. But then I also learned it had to work in up and down markets. And then lastly, I wanted to provide a service to the community. Because if you're not creating value, it won't be sustainable. Because there's ambulance chasing approaches to real estate. And so what will actually give enough value? And those 6 criteria is what I actually based all my strategies on. And I dumped 30 strategies into this funnel in this book. And I said, guess what? Out of all 30 strategies, there is one that emerges as the best. And if you were a brand new investor and you were buying real estate in your backyard, this book argues that the best strategy is going to be purchasing single family homes below the median. And it's going to argue that you do something called a lease option or a rent to own that you're probably familiar with. I have a twist on that strategy. I call it compassionate financing, so that I provide a greater service to the community and help families actually buy those homes.
A lot of those fall apart.
A lot of those fall apart.
I mean, why do you argue that lease option own is good for both parties? Because my experience has been buyer, tenant comes in, they fork over a deposit they can hardly afford.
Yep.
They don't buy now because their credit isn't worthy enough. That they can't afford the property to begin with, so they think 2 years from now I'm going to be a completely changed person and I'll be able to afford it. They're in the exact same boat they were 2 years previously, and then they lose the deposit.
Yeah.
And it seems like almost a landlord scam to do it this way, and so I've struggled with lease option own.
Yeah.
Why does it work so well in your case?
Well, it goes deeper. It gets predatory because also People are trying to establish prices when they don't understand the market, and they say, well, let's allow the market to determine what you're going to be buying this for. So I actually took the strategy and I rethought the whole thing, and I came up with my own version that called a compassionate finance.
Yeah, so what's the difference with that?
The biggest difference is that, first of all, I put a family in the home and I have a system for tracking them and helping them actually buy the home. So instead of just ignoring them for 2 years, I'm helping them enroll in credit repair. I'm actually helping them create financial habits that will allow them to buy the home. I'm actually taking a part of their rent every month and I'm crediting it towards the down payment. I also put people on title so that they can actually refinance, which is easier to qualify for rather than a purchase. And here's the reality. If people would actually do a lease option the way that they could be and actually help the person buy the home so that they don't forfeit their deposit, I actually mathematically found that you'll make 2.5 times more money as an investor than just a renter or someone who allows a lease option to lapse. So it all comes down to the intention.
You're doing it based on fair market values now? Or are you doing it based on future?
I actually had to create something that I hadn't seen in the market. I paid $10,000 for my legal team to create a custom contract that I give away to all of my students. And in the contract, I let them know, hey, because of what I purchased the home for, this is a minimum purchase price. It can't, no matter what happens in the market, if it sells below that, it'll hurt me. But the real purchase price will be whatever the market appraises for, minus we're going to deduct the money that you put down. We're going to deduct the money that I credit at the monthly contributions. And so I found a way to say, you know what, we're going to, whether you buy it in 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, we'll let the market determine the sales price, but all your credits that you keep building, we're going to apply them. That's fairest.
So
by the way,
it's between a 2 to 5 year term that you're going in with?
I usually do a 2-year contract with the willingness to extend as long as they've made faith payments loyal on time the way that they're supposed to.
What if they're not participating in the approach to bettering their personal financial situation?
This is a good question. So actually I found that there's different reasons why people like to do a lease option. Sometimes it's because they don't have the credit, but they're making a plan so that they will have the credit. Sometimes it's because they're in an industry that they think is going to shift and change, or they think that they might move. They want the upside of home ownership today, but they actually walk in knowing that there's a high likelihood that they may be walking in 2 years and that they actually don't want to follow through and purchase.
Yeah, what if they don't want the house anymore? And people change their mind so fast.
And so by the way, versus renting, this is the option that they find comfort zone with.
Okay.
So it comes down to your mindset, it comes down to the contracts, and it comes down to the intention.
Okay.
My intention is to help people.
Right.
And so many of my tenants actually went on to purchase, and it's because I actually helped make that possible. Others, they needed to get out, and then they got out, and sure, they did walk away from their down payment, but you know what? They didn't feel like a tenant
bamboozled either,
the
right?
entire time, or bamboozled.
Right, because I think a lot of landlords go in with the hope that they walk away and lose the deposit, right? It's a way of just kind of cashing in.
And they don't understand how much money they're losing with that mindset. They think they're walking into this big grundle of money, and then in a year from now they're going to stiff them. I heard this horrible story of someone who got 50 grand up front. It was a 12-month contract, and after they couldn't buy it, they booted them out. And that's what they were doing. They were actually just taking advantage of people. I'm like,
wow, just churning them over, huh?
But you know, in real estate, there's always a way to take advantage. It's a weird game. That's why I think realtors often get a bad rap, because they have a chance to do some unethical things if they want. And that doesn't mean that they will, but real estate is littered with opportunity for people to pull the wool over. So I basically invented a new approach, and I argued for it, and I teach it, and I actually show people exactly how to do it in my book. And this book is free. So
you're giving that away, right?
Well, if I never see you again, I want anyone to actually have this. I will physically put this mail. I do ask that you cover the shipping, but the book otherwise, everything is entirely free. And for me, it's my hope that says, hey, I've had people the last time I was at the airport run up to me and say, Kris, I read your book and then I did 3 deals, and they were so thrilled. And so it's like, better your life even if we never do anything else again.
Thank you.
And I believe this book will give you something in real estate that you can't find in any other book.
That's awesome. Guys, listen, Kris is the real deal, right? And take it from a guy that's been out here to Utah multiple times to see it firsthand. I think, you know, YouTube is an easy way to sort of mislead, misdirect, kind of that IG versus real life comparison. And you never really know who's real and who isn't. And I also, like I said, like the fact that both Kris and myself have been through the ups and the downs and have lived to tell about it. And if you're not working with people who are old enough to tell you about how the last recession impacted their business, how are you really safe going into the next downturn? This is somebody that I can feel confident standing next to and saying, if you move forward because it happens to be a great fit to partner with them, then hey, we're comfortable at least putting our name next to that person and saying, we believe that this is the real thing. And so go ahead and check out the links in the description, guys. We're gonna give you the book. This is completely free just for being a viewer. You're gonna pick up the shipping and handling on it, but you will get a great read and you should be able to do deals on your own if that's your jam. If you guys are looking to partner, it's even better.
It's the hands-off approach, right? I mean, this book is for people that say, you know what, I really want to have the experience.
I want to do the work.
And the other link is for people to say, you know what, let's actually see what it would look like if I had an expert team do it for me.
That's right.
Put in the hundreds of hours, but I got to benefit.
Exactly. That's for the people that like the term passive income. Check the second link. That's kriskrohn.com/VIP. Guys, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, that's your next
Fix
task.
that. This is
Exactly.
amazing. I love Matthew. I love your channel, man.
What the hell are you waiting for, guys?
Yeah, make it happen.
Tune in. And also drop a like if you want us to continue to make more videos with Kris, because guys, this is just scratching the surface. This is just us introducing you to the partnership, to the concepts, but we can really start to get into the actual nuts and bolts of how this process unfolds so that you guys can continue to educate yourselves. Education and cash flow equals power, friends. And until we see you on the next video, you guys make it a great day today.
Take care.
Take great care. Bye-bye.